Hey, and welcome to my analysis of Gentlemen of the Jungle. Gentlemen of the Jungle is a short story written by Jomo Kenyatta, who's from Kenya, and it's written in 1938. It's funny because this story is an animal fable in the same style as what Rudyard Kipling wrote his Jeff So stories, like the one that we've read, the how the leopard got its spots. However, the message is entirely different in this story, as this is a case of how the Empire writes back. Um, and if you just read this story without looking into it, it might actually look like a children's story. This is also why I've got the storyboards in a cartoonish way here in the background. But if you really look at the symbolism, which is what ties this story together, you actually see that there's a deeper meaning to this story. You see how the animal symbolizes characters of the British Empire, how the lion is the monarch of England. I can't remember if this must be Queen Elizabeth's dad, who at this time 1930s was the king, and the elephant is the prime minister. I don't know if it's Neville Chamberlain back then, and then the rest of the animals are his members of cabinet, his ministers. Um, so the way that the elephant uses the hut and exploits the man when it's raining outside really resembles how the Empire exploits its colonies, just funnels resources away from the colonies and back to the main island, England and Great Britain. And also the way that the animals reason really takes a page out of the Eton Boys books. They let me read you a paragraph from the text. He invited me to save his hut from being blown away by a hurricane, as the hurricane had gained access. Owing to the unoccupied space in the hut, I considered it necessary in my friend's own interest to turn the undeveloped space to a more economic use by sitting in it myself, a duty which any of you would undoubtedly have performed with equal readiness in similar circumstances. So let's look at the word choices later, but you can really see how they focus on the economic side of things, and if they aren't going to use this space, so in real life this would be resources, and if they don't have the capabilities to use these resources, we might as well do it, which is what the pro empire and pro colonies guys said back in the 1930s and earlier. And also see the word choices that they're very formal. It's the English that you would expect from the upper class and from politicians at this time. So this is how you can see that the animals actually resemble politicians and the official England. And you can also see the ending of the story where he tricks all of the animals into one hut because they all want to exploit his hut, as Jomo Kenyatta's way of saying that this exploiting has to stop. This empire is not going to last forever, and the people of Kenya will not tolerate being oppressed anymore, uh, as they've endured too much from the British. You have to read this story in a historical context. Um, if you just read it without, you wouldn't get all these these messages, hidden messages from the symbolism, and it's actually funny because um, the story, the plot in it, really resembles a concession that the British Empire had to make, where they tricked the locals and the natives from some mining rights, and they looked really poorly, reflected poorly on the British Empire. So they did this kind of phony democracy where they didn't actually invite any representatives for the natives, and they just made it look like they wanted to keep their best interests in mind. You can also see that Kenyatta actually went to prison in the 1950s. I don't think it was for this, but it was for being anti-empire in a time where being anti-empire was very dangerous for a black man, since the British wanted to tighten their grip on the empire and they felt like they were losing it. But this is also one of the reasons why he might have written this as an animal fable, because you can only see the real meaning by putting in symbols. So there's this doubt. This doesn't really hold up in court that this is anti-imperial or anti-empire. Well, this was my analysis of Gentlemen of the Jungle. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night.